Okay. Want to welcome everybody to Down Home Crypto. Thank you for joining us. And today we're going to be talking about Diamondback. And with us today, I want to introduce Robert.
Thank you for having me, Serenity. I appreciate being here, buddy. And I'm looking forward to this AMA and working together in the near future.
Definitely. So, Robert, now Diamondback is a very unique protocol, really looking to revolutionize the economy. I mean, it's a pretty bold move here. So, if you would tell us about Diamondback.
So, the main essence, mission, and vision of Diamondback is being for everyone, everywhere, every day. There are 2 billion people that are unbanked or underbanked in the world. They don't have any access to wealth management, and there are billions of people trying to exit their fiat currency if they hold USD, Euro, the yen, and many of the depleting currencies worldwide. And here at Diamondback, we provide a solution to hedge against inflation. For the past 6 years, we've worked diligently with some of the most reputable companies in the world that are in our trust model, business model. And what we did was we cryptographically registered high-end gemstones and tokenized them to the blockchain. So one Diamondback coin is substantiated, pegged, or backed by one high-end diamond. And as you hold the Diamondback coin, it never depreciates in value due to the fact that it is backed by an asset that's in the same asset class, such as real estate and stocks, that has not depreciated in value ever since we started tracking these diamonds.
Okay, terrific. Now, when you say that people, they don't have access to get to their funds or utilize that, what are we talking here as far as how is that going to solve this problem by, let's say, me in America here trying to send money to somebody in South America or something like that? How is Diamondback going to solve that compared to other stablecoins or other exchanges?
Well, the thing is for USDC or USDT or BUSD, right? They don't hedge against inflation, right? You hold it, you're still going to be susceptible to inflation, right? And stablecoins are great. That's why in 2020, stablecoin market capitalization was 1 billion, and then now it's 155 billion, right? People want to onboard into digital currencies, right? They want to onboard out of their fiat. But the problem with that is Bitcoin and Ethereum, for example, are too volatile and can be quantified as a parasitic system for someone to make money, someone has to lose, right? People don't use Bitcoin and Ethereum for goods and services due to the volatility. And then the fact that Diamondback, the ecosystem, it's built on its own closed loop system, which was audited by our partners Hacken, right? And as people join our ecosystem, right, that's accessible to everyone. We are legally compliant and registered in the United Arab Emirates. We're compliant with most of the banks in Europe and also in South America. And we're also compliant here in the States. We are not considered a security due to our trust model that I will dive into very soon. But the reason is people that can buy Diamondback with their fiat from their bank accounts, right? And they can use Diamondback, right, as a way, as a medium of exchanges, unit of account, and store of value. And one of the biggest ways and biggest indicators for our mass adoption is going to be with the fact that when you send a currency, Serenity, let's say you want to send money to someone in an emerging, developing country, Estonia, Lithuania, Nigeria, and you try to do a wire-to-wire transfer. It's going to be a hassle, right? It's going to be exorbitant fees. It's going to take days, right?
It is. I've sent a couple of wire transfers, and yeah, the fees were insane, and it would take 7 to 10 days, and it had to go through like 12 banks. Like, oh my God, this is insane. There's got to be an easier way. Absolutely.
Exactly. And blockchain and distributed ledger technology solves that problem, right? Our ecosystem that we built that is gasless and it's instant, right? So you'll be able to send payment, no problem, to a family member across the world without exorbitant fees and without dealing without any of those problems. And that's one of the reasons why we'll be accepted by the masses and retail.
Okay. Sounds good. So if you would tell us about the Diamondback protocol, how do we get into it? How does it work? Give us a walkthrough.
Yeah, I'll give you guys a walkthrough. I think I'll first start with the trust model, right? Kind of give everyone a an overview of kind of the steps we go with acquiring these diamonds and then the process we put them through. So the first step is we have advisors and connections with individuals and companies that have been in the diamond industry for years now. One of our head advisors is RJ Richards. He was a manager at Boeing. He also helped run many huge, massive diamond mining companies in South America and the United States. So at first, the diamonds are bought from our diamond agents, like I just said, and connections in massive bulk, millions at a time. We always have the Kimberley certification. Therefore, the diamonds are sourced legally and ethically. The Kimberley certification, if you don't know, was created by the UK UN General Assembly in 2003 that it doesn't allow conflict diamonds to enter the rough diamond market. And then the Gemological Institute of America, right, performs the, before I actually get into the GIA, each diamond, for you guys' knowledge, is handpicked, assessed, and negotiated, right? So, and the stones we cut, or the stones that we acquire, are uncut, right? Because if you acquire cut and certified stones, they're more expensive than buying uncut stones. So the diamonds we buy are uncut, and then we put them through the 4C process: cut, color, clarity, and carat, right?
Okay.
And once that process is over, we put them through our pending patented trust model, right? And that's when we get into the good stuff, Serenity. So the Gemological Institute of America performs the grading service on those diamonds that have been put through the 4C process. Next, Rappaport reports the sales of diamonds, and then we use that to value our diamonds on a wholesale scale. The diamonds and the Diamondback coins then are insured by Lloyd's of London, right? Safeguarded in vaults by Brinks, held in a third-party trustee by Winchester Global Trust. Then that vault is audited and verified by our perpetual partner, PricewaterhouseCoopers, who's also a top Fortune 500 company. And this really makes our protocol rugged and exploited proof. We don't have access to the diamonds. They're insured by top tier partners and relationships, right? And
Okay.
also,
So no Scrooge Duck going into the vault there and playing with them, as well as they're not in a bank, correct? That's one big thing because banks are failing
exactly,
left and right these days.
exactly. And it's not like BUSD who is hooked up to banks in New York, right?
Right.
That's how they operate, right? So we are a completely it's a completely trustless system, really. And the thing that makes it so key too is with that process, we're not quantified as a security here in the States, makes us compliant. And we did that with our amazing partners at Clifford Chance, which is one of the most preeminent legal firms in the world and in the United States.
Excellent. No, I like that. And that's one thing that when I did my video review on this is
Mhm.
people don't realize most stable coins are really backed by US dollars locked in a bank or something like that. And so really, as we know, the economy is going horrible. The dollar is not worth a dollar anymore. So I really have to ask myself, is a stable coin really worth the dollar? I mean, if the dollar is not worth the dollar, is the coin backed by the dollar really worth the dollar?
Exactly. And I think it was time, right? And over the years, we've seen since 1971, right? Since the dollar was taken off the gold standard, that was
Mhm.
kind of the end of fiat currency. And everything has changed so much within 100 years, right?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just crazy how technology has scaled, but money hasn't, especially with the usage and adoption of blockchain and distributed ledger technology. It's time for money to be accessible for everyone, everywhere, every day. And
Absolutely.
we want to be, and we will be that financial solution that people need.
Definitely. Hey, funny Turo. Glad you could join us, buddy. So yeah, the one thing I noticed here is like on this diamond price chart, it's done
Mhm.
nothing but gone up. Now, I don't think there's anything else in the world short of like taxes that have done the same thing. So, I mean, for an actual commodity, that is great. Now, as far as doing this, and do you ever see this being an issue or a problem as far as if there was ever a need to sell the diamonds or something like that, if there was any reason to liquidate, shall we say, or to bolster up the protocol, is there anything built in the system for that to occur, or how exactly, if it does need to utilize that funds, how does that work?
Yeah, that's a great question, and one we get quite a bit, as you could could imagine there's
I could
serenity.
imagine. Yeah.
You could imagine, right? Because bank runs and liquidations, right, people are scared of, right? Because when you think about USDT, you think about do they have the proof of reserves? Do they have the assets, right, on hand? And the thing about the diamonds is we buy them in such big bulks because when we buy them millions at a time, the diamond agents we're buying them from, the mining companies we're buying them from, know that the diamonds that go into our vaults will never leave the vaults to go back in the diamond market. So once
Okay.
we buy those diamonds, they don't go back in the market. And that works because we never sell the diamonds out of the reserve, which that creates the effect of a burn mechanism of super high end rare diamonds, lowering the supply of those high end stones on the market, right? And the
Okay.
reason we're able to do that is when someone sells, right, quote unquote, sells their Diamondback, all that happens is they trade it for another crypto or for normal money from someone who wants to buy their Diamondback,
Okay.
right? So in essence, it's not they're going to the vault and being like, "Hey, can I have a diamond?" It's not. It doesn't work like that, right? Because they're selling it to someone who wants to buy their Diamondback, and for
Right.
that reason, it nullifies the risks of a bank run and liquidations of those high-end diamonds.
So you mean my new diamond necklace? I can't just go into the vault, pick out. Yeah, I want that blue in there on the left. That's not going to happen,
I don't know, Serenity. For you, we might be able to do that.
huh? Okay. Hey,
We
I
might
like
be able
that.
to
All
do
right.
that.
Perfect. Perfect. Excellent. So now, if we wanted to get into this, there's a couple different ways, and they're very interesting. And
Mhm.
so, can you break down the two different ways to get into it, and what the benefits are both, the returns, and let's go through those aspects because it gets a little confusing if you don't really know what you're talking about here.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot going on, and I think it's the most important thing we can do in crypto right now as influencers or people with a lot of status is
Right.
educate. Education is the most important thing. Edu-
100%. And it's definitely something I'm all about. And I've got my own series just to educate, to bring people up because the worst thing right now is there's so many things happening and crypto moves so fast. People have no idea. And I mean, one day out of it, and you're like 3 weeks behind. It's absolutely crazy. So trying to stay on top of it, stay in front of it, and also let the rest of the world know. Because I mean, if you think about it, you've only got about 7% of the world's population actually invests or knows anything about crypto. That's a lot of people that don't. So yeah,
Mhm.
education is absolutely key.
Yeah, absolutely important. So the two ways to partake in the Diamondback ecosystem is through the royalty program. I want to make this abundantly clear that Diamondback, the coin, right, will be accessible to everyone, but that
Right.
will be the currency, the coin that the masses and retailers buy that want to store their fiat currency in something other than the dollar, right? And they can
Right.
expect like a 5 to 10, 15% APR because of the appreciating value of the high end diamonds, right? Diamondback coin is just to offset inflation, right? But the
Right.
way you get kind of your profits and your gains from this is from our royalty program. So the Royal Holder Pool receives 5% from all DBK coins sold. So let me explain that to you in layman terms.
Yes,
Let's
please.
use let's use an example from USDT. So
Okay.
let's say USDT does $1 billion worth of buying volume in a day. 5% of that gross sales, that billion would go back to the Royal token holders, right? As passive income. So every Diamondback sold allocates a portion of gross revenue to pay Royal holders for 300 months, 25 years, and the Royal holders will be paid in either BUSD on the Binance Smart Chain or USDC on the Ethereum chain.
Okay.
And the
Now,
Go ahead.
sorry. How often do they get paid on that? I mean, is it like a monthly, a weekly, a yearly? How does that work exactly?
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was just about to talk about
Oh, okay.
next.
Sorry.
You're
Go
reading my
ahead.
mind. So the royal owners are paid monthly on that month's sales, regardless of the sales amount. So if we do 1 million in a month, still 5% will go back to the token holders. If we do 1 billion, 5%. It's not a variant of a percentage. It's always the same, regardless of the sales amount, and it's always monthly.
Got it. That makes sense. And so at the end of the month, it totals up how much was transferred during the course of that month, and then that 5% goes out to all the royal holders.
Exactly. And I think an important question people kind of ask us is when I break down this process to them, they always ask like, okay, such a legitimate company, they're legally compliant, they're registered, they're massive, their executive teams involved in high level corporate finance. Why go this route in DeFi for the royalty program? Why don't you go to institutional banks, hedge funds, family offices, private equity, right? And the reason is this. I'll tell you why.
Yes, please.
In crypto, community is everything. It is absolutely priceless. You cannot put a price tag on it. You look at these three protocols: Chainlink, Cardano, and XRP. Chainlink has a great product. They had the best product, one of the best products of 2020, plus best community, and they got the best result, right? Cardano and XRP have been quantified as being a little bit of vaporware, but their communities bolstered them to billions and billions of worth of market capitalization. We understand that the anonymous Pepe the Frogs are much more important than the suits in Wall Street. Because once you start dealing in traditional finance, I have experience there, you probably do as well, Serenity,
Hmm.
is they start asking for equity. They start asking for you to change your vision and the mission a little bit to align with them. We want people who want to be on board with what we're doing, have our back, and build that community. And like I said, community is everything. And traditional finance people do not really fit into that mold like we want them to.
No, not even close. And the biggest thing there is you've got too many captains trying to drive the ship, and it turns into a train wreck. Typically, it just goes sideways.
Exactly. So you understand it, and through this way, through DeFi, right? Even though it's a gray area, it's the wild wild west. The people here in DeFi, they understand that community is everything, and they understand. Listen, I take this example: GameStop. Redditors and 4chaners bankrupted a hedge fund via GameStop. People, anonymous Pepe the Frogs, have more power than they realize.
Yeah.
And going through them and building that community with them individually is the most important thing we can do.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. And that's one thing we're really noticing within the DeFi space is, you know, everybody was kind of just running rampant during the bull market. But now it's a bear market. We've all kind of come together. All the bad fish have kind of swam away.
Yeah,
And those of us who remain have really built up a pretty strong community. And together we're actually growing to be quite a powerful force, moving in the right directions for the right reasons. And that's something that I'm really proud of being here. It's not easy, but it's definitely worthwhile. And so some great things are coming out of it. Now, you're not the only big company that I've seen lately come into the DeFi space. I don't know if you've heard of them, but Ambo Oil Pipeline, they've actually been taking that instead of going to the big corporate things, they
hmm
came to the DeFi space. And to me, this is really exciting to see big companies, big corporations coming into the DeFi space where everybody thought we were just a bunch of hoodlums and it's Wild West, to come into here to truly get the community involvement. And I think that's a great transition that people don't see if they're not within this space.
absolutely. And I think you're going to see more and more and more big companies really follow these footsteps because, like I said, when you look at it and you see all these institutions kind of playing ball in crypto, it's the FTX, the Celsius, the Luna. It's like, I don't know, it causes some doubt with institution investment banks and private equity. They always want more and more and more, and then they want to drive the ship, like you were saying. But once you build up that community, it's truly, and I mean this is priceless. For Redditors, 4chaners, anonymous Pepe the Frogs, as I like to say, it's absolutely essential to outmost efficiency and being advantageous for everyone involved.
I couldn't agree more. And yeah, people don't realize just how much power they have in the masses. And you don't realize if you get one big, powerful person driving a boat, that's great. But really, it's all the people behind them that have the true strength to make that happen. And so, yeah, people just don't realize how much power every voice has within this world. And especially within something like DeFi or crypto, it's the backing of thousands and millions of community members versus just that one person up front that has the biggest bag of money or whatever it is.
Exactly.
So excellent. So now, if they wanted to get into this, you said the two ways. So the first one here, let's bring this up real fast, is the Royal Sale. And now tell us how exactly we would go about this. And you said this is what gives us the 5% return, correct?
That is correct. Sorry, I was smacking my internet connection. Make sure.
That's okay. I keep seeing my camera freeze. So sorry, guys, if I look like I'm doing the whole robot thing, I apologize. I've been hanging around with the bonks way too much, apparently. He's infected my computer.
Oh, your box. Your box actually had a 2-hour video conference call with the CEO of Diamondback,
Uh-huh.
and that went great. So I'm looking forward to chatting with him later this month.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yabonks is actually, for those who don't know, he's my mentor, my teacher, my friend, my guide, taken a lot of cues from him and really has helped me and nurtured me through this growing process, as you will. I'm about 6 months behind where he is today. So I'm kind of following on his coattails. But no, a great guy. But yes, he is absolutely always involved. And I have never gotten on a stream with him for less than, I don't know, 5-6 hours minimum. We've done what, a 15-hour AMA or Christmas special. We did a 12-hour just fun New Year's event. Absolutely great guy, and I highly recommend, if you guys haven't heard about Yabonks, definitely check him out. Absolute right and great information. Very intelligent.
Yeah, absolutely. So ways you can participate here is right. We accept BUSD on the Binance Smart Chain and USDC on Ethereum. Right. You go to dbk.finance, which you can see here. And actually, right now we have our whitelist sale going on, which means it's $1 for one Royal, right? Before we go
Okay.
public, because the public sale will be $2 per Royal. And the thing is too is once you buy, you don't have to stake or anything. You don't have to interact with any websites, connect your wallet, because I know we all have some sort of trauma from that. I do personally. Um,
I think we
I,
all do.
I think
Absolutely.
I think we all do. So all you have to do is just hold the tokens in your wallet, and you'll be fine. We have hundreds of on-chain specialists, data analysts working for us, working with us. So it will be no issue, right? The great thing about the blockchain, right?
Okay. Now, how do
So
you get a whitelist? Let me interrupt you real quick there.
yeah, so a way to get a whitelist is you can head to our Twitter, you like our pin post, and then you retweet it, and then also you send me screenshots of that, right? And I'm sure you guys probably won't remember what I'm saying, so you can just head to the Discord, and we have the by a step-by-step process in our Discord.
Okay.
We have our own channel called How to Get Whitelisted, and then you just DM me the proof in your wallet, and I'll whitelist you. And then also we also have a 10% live bonus. So whatever you purchase, let's say Serenity, you purchase 1,000 Royal tokens, you'll get a 10% bonus, so you'll get 100 tokens on top of that. So yeah, make sure you guys use the code SER plus 10 when you DM me.
Put that in the chat there.
Perfect. And
So they'll get the whitelist and 10% on top of that, correct?
that is correct. So it'll be
Nice.
one Royal, $1. So the minimum buy-in is 500 BUSD or 500 USDC. And the thing is too was also I didn't touch on this, Serenity. You just didn't touch on this. Is also we've had questions about this. Is a unit. So people are like, "What's a unit?" So a full unit is $20,000. And a full unit is our off-chain sales, right? That's the minimum buy-in for off-chain, right? Because
Okay.
royalty programs live off-chain. We've had some big players take part, and the thing is with that too is if you buy a full unit, 20,000 US dollars, is we send you over an NDA, and we give you kind of special privileges, and you get access to information of people who have partook in the ecosystem already, and which investment banks are extremely interested in buying the Diamondback coin in countries as well. So A full unit comes with a lot of privileges that one should be interested in. Definitely.
Absolutely. And yeah, 5% on $20,000. That's a good retirement fund right there. I mean, that'll set you for life.
Yeah, absolutely. And the math on that too is we decided to implement an accelerated ROI program because, like I said, community is everything. We want to make sure we protect our investors and our community as we scale and grow this thing in 2023. So what that means is if you're a participator before $500,000, right,
Mhm.
on USDC or on BUSD, right, on ETH or Binance Smart Chain, once Diamondback does 5 million, right, in volume, which could happen in a day or two, right?
Oh, yeah.
Once it first launches, you will ROI, you will make your money back, and then from that point on, you will be in profit. And what that math looks like from the past 5 million point, right? So after 5 million, every 1 billion DBK coin sold is a 2.5x for you. So
Okay.
in the grand scheme of things, USDT, USDC, BUSD, Pax Dollar, and even smaller stable coins does that amount of volume in a week, right?
Right.
And the thing is it's a true it's true passive income, right? Because it's the same assets. It's kind of buying like triple net leases apartment complexes, right? Because you're getting gross sales passively, and you partake in an ever growing ecosystem that will only scale the more and more volume comes in. The
And
early
that makes
adopter
sense.
phase. Yeah.
Definitely. And I was trying to find that price chart, and for the life of me, I cannot find the big chart that has the returns per million and billion and all that. So yeah, if you've got that, if you could throw that on the screen, that'd be great. If not, point me to it, and I'll try to get that up.
Yeah, let me see if I can find that. We can also I can post it, and if anyone has questions, I have it. I can just send
Absolutely.
it to
And
you.
please, if you do have questions, guys, put them in the comments down below. And the best question may get something today. We don't know. So yeah, definitely interact, ask questions, give us what you got, because we really want to dig into this. We want to know what you guys think. And I'm always out for other opinions. I can't come up with all these questions on my own. Don't trust me to do that.
I did see. I want to touch on this one aspect. I did see in
Yes.
your previous video. I think I don't want his name was I think like Funny Toro. I think that was who it was.
Yes.
But he said that he was a little concerned because of the adoption, the partnerships for sales, right? I was
Agreed.
like,
And that was one thing that I had a question on. And I was going to get to that point because, yes, adoption is
mhm.
key, as we know. And so, how are you going to go out and compete against BUSD and USDT and all those? Because that's really the big dogs we've got to get up to match to hit those kind of numbers we're talking. So, what's your plan?
So the great thing about this is being compliant, legally registered, and that being integrated and collaborated with banks all over the world, it makes it much easier to purchase Diamondback, right, through your bank account. And we have some major partnerships that I can talk about. So first one is Alpha Point runs our software infrastructure system. We've been partnered with them for about 4 years now. They're also the same ones that run El Salvador's Bitcoin wallet. So we already have an integration with one country. The second thing is we are being listed as the preferred stable price coin on choice.com, which is $1 billion platform out of Europe with 500,000 users and does millions and millions of volume every day. And also, we have engaged and started conversations of negotiation, one could say, with many US investment banks that want to onboard Diamondback for their high net worth clientele, right? Because when people partake in a hedge fund or an investment bank, especially people of massive net worth like yourself, Serenity, this is the thing they do is Citadel, right? You have to have a 10 million minimum to partake in their hedge fund. They don't
Right.
trade money to make you money. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna this 10 million to become 20 million, become 30 million. That's not the thing these hedge funds do. Is to protect your money, right? They trade it to
Absolutely.
protect it, right? That's the keys. They want to hedge it against inflation, which is rampant right now. So these investment banks are seeing Diamondback as an alternative solution and a safe on ramp into digital currency. A lot of these investment banks and these big players want to adopt digital currency, but they can't. Whether they buy Bitcoin, well, it might be $10,000 tomorrow, right? They can't. It's too volatile and it's too risky. But with Diamondback, something that can be used for goods and services and that's legally compliant, it's a safe on ramp.
Okay. And that makes sense. Now, there's a part I want to ask you on the review video I did. Now, if you guys haven't seen the review video, I'll put a link to that here in the description. But I want to cover one thing. I lost it. There we go. So, in talk about the long-term vision and strategy, you mentioned a members-only club of consumers. Now, can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I can touch on that a smidge. So
Okay.
the members only is once you participate in the Diamondback ecosystem, right, and you purchase your first coins, right, you'll be the only ones that receive the drip, which is called the diamond dust, right? And on the D app that that's been thoroughly tested, our MVP that we've been perfecting over the past 3 years, is it's the diamond dust is always going up. Your interest you garner is always increasing due to the fact that the diamonds always increase in value. So let's say Serenity, you have 100 Diamondback coins. That's going to be your loyalty. And then on the right, you'll see diamond dust, right? And
Okay.
that will always be increasing as your interests. And what our users and consumers and the clients that we are onboarding already, even before launch, is they will be spending their interest as they're spending money, and they're just hold their original diamond back, right? And that will garner more and more interest because they'll never sell it for anything. They don't need to. And
Okay.
we have integrated and partnered with payment platforms. I cannot say. Um, there's so many NDAs and confidential agreements I signed. It's insane.
Right. And of course, I'm going to ask all the questions you can't answer. I mean,
Yeah.
we just kind of know that's how this will work.
So the thing is, the secret here, guys, if you just buy a full unit, I can tell you these things. So just buy a full unit, and we'll send you an NDA and we can have a great conversation about this.
Perfect. Okay, I got a deal here. How about you loan me the BUSD to buy the full unit, to give me the information, and in 2 years, when this has 100x, I will happily pay back the loan with interest. How's that? Can we work something here? Come on, work with me.
I think we could talk about it. I could get a couple of the executives on board and we could talk in more in depth about that Serenity. But to me, it sounds like a deal.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so no, this is one thing, guys. It's not one that I can say yes, absolutely go for it. I can't say it's 100% going to make it. I can't say it's not. This is not financial advice ever. It's for an entertainment. You guys need to do your own research, do your own assessment. I have put all the links to the white paper and all their links as well.
Mhm.
And I got to tell you, this is one of the best, well-written white papers I've ever read. I mean, with all the different projects I go in and I research and stuff, this has probably the most professional and most well drawn out, and also the best breadcrumb trails going through this. So definitely do your research. But so far, I was really impressed, to the point. Even share with you, because even a little guy like me, I'm kind of limited. But I actually mentioned my own Diamond DAO.
Mhm.
So if you would tell us about the Diamond DAO, because for little guys like myself, where I don't have the $500 or $10,000 to throw into something like this
Yeah.
yet, I'm working on it, but I'm not quite popular at. Tell us about the Diamond DAO, because this is a great opportunity for just about anybody to get in at such a low entry fee. How do we do it, and what does it give us?
Yeah, so pretty much the NFT, right? You see right here, the Diamond DAO is a fractionalized piece of royalty pool, right? And one NFT here is one AVAX, which is approximately what, $16, $17.
Hmm.
And what happens is we partnered with this DAO for the specific reason of what you just said, right? A lot of people might not have 500, 1,000, 10,000 to throw around, but sometimes the people who have a few bucks make the best community, right? Make the best participators in the community, and is really the foundation. So we wanted to provide this solution to them, right? Get them in a cool NFT, and then you're a fractionalized, right, part of the royalty program, and then the DAO handles out the payouts. And like I said, we wanted to really cast a wide net here and really garner the masses when it came to all sizes of DeFi, right? There's some players that throw around 100,000 on ETH, and then there's some players on AVAX only got $10, $15. We wanted them to have access to the opportunity.
Okay. And that makes sense. And yeah, this is one that, yeah, I actually purchased. I got two of them. I thought, okay, I'll give it a go. And right off the bat on NFT Trader, it's telling me the floor price is 2.37 AVAX. So, I mean, right off the bat, that's not a bad deal. I've already done a 2x so far on my investments. So, hey, that's not a bad deal.
There you go. Very nice. Love to see it. And then maybe it keeps increasing in value and you can buy yourself a full unit. And then we could talk more in depth.
There you go. I like
there
it.
You go.
So I could definitely handle that. So Mike, good to see you. Welcome, buddy. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely interesting. I think we've gone through a lot of the pieces here. So really want to hear from the audience because want to get some of these hard questions here. So I know we put it out there enough places. There's got to be people here. Let's see, Mike says, I'll give full unit here.
Robert
Yeah.
has to give me a discount though. Listen, hey, DM me and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it, Mike. I got you.
Hey, Mike, between me and you, man, we'll go together. We'll get enough to buy a Big Mac, to pay the executives, to loan us some money, to buy a full unit. We're set.
You actually just kind of peaked something right now, Serenity, that I'm surprised no one's done yet. Someone could do kind of hypothetically what you just said when it came to a full unit and kind of garner access to what we have. If you're picking up what I'm putting down.
I am. Why is it I always get in under the skin and find that good information? Okay. We'll meet after this. Everybody will converge over here in my private Discord. Yeah, we'll talk about it. We got this figured out. So I know there's something else I wanted to ask you, and I'm forgetting what it was. So somebody help me out here. Where did it go? Now, as far as can you utilize both the Diamond DAO and the DBK? Can you do both simultaneously, and do they benefit each other? How does that work exactly?
Elaborate how they work together. So Diamond DAO is so I think that comes from my connect. So kind of how I'll touch on it is kind of my connection to Diamondback and how I got connected with them. Okay. So I've been in DeFi now for 3 years. I worked in security, centralized marketplaces, traditional finance, right? And over the past 3 years, I've garnered quite a Rolodex and DeFi, as you could imagine, right? You have yourself Serenity. You know how it works. It just kind of is a snowball cascade.
It is, absolutely.
And then over that time, I kind of introduced the right people, and we put together a development agency, right, out of Miami, Florida. So in Miami, Florida, there's a little strip called Brickell, and that's where all the businesses all pretty much. It's kind of the wealthy area of Miami. And in the same building as a development agency was Diamondback. What a coincidence, right?
That is. That's interesting. Okay.
That's kind of crazy, isn't it? And then yeah. I ended up meeting the Diamondback team about 24 months ago. We ran into each other since we were in the same building, right? And ever since then, I've been connected with them and been working aside with them. And I wanted to kind of see how their progress was legally, with compliance and regulations, right? Because regulatory parameters is kind of on everyone's mind when it comes to stablecoin usage. But like I said, with their partnerships and their experience and, the great advice of their advisors, Aaron Etra, who's on the UK-UN's International Board of Foreign Relations, and Grant Sperling, who's a lawyer at Boeing, and Clifford Chance legal firm, they were able to get clearance and really start to push this thing hard. And the thing is they wanted to garner a community, which was important. So I told them, and I kept bugging them about it. I was like, you need to go on chain, because the royalty program was off chain and it did excellent success, right? I mean, they brought in a lot, but I was like, you guys need to garner a community because that's priceless. And so
absolutely,
about 2 months ago, got the thumbs up to go on chain. And here we are, right? And I was like, we need to have access to the little players as well. Let's partner with this. They can buy a fractionalized part of the royalty program with an NFT, right? Which is what an NFT should be, right? The main utility of it should be a fractionalized part of something, a ticket, access to more utility, right?
Exactly. It should be a stepping stone. It should have a use case, not be a picture or something like that, but truly
Exactly.
a part of something. Absolutely. So now,
Exactly.
one thing I want to point out is when I was going through this, because you were just talking about the team and how to get into that. So I'm going to pull up part of the white paper here, because this is one thing that impressed me personally. Is when I went through the white paper and I started
Mhm.
reading about William Eng, and I immediately went to his LinkedIn profile, and it's like, hey, look, a person. Okay, this is kind of nice.
Yeah, exactly.
This is one thing that I dove into a little bit, read through, did a little bit of research. I did notice that a couple of these they were missing some bits and pieces, so I think somebody needs to update their profile. Because like Peter, he didn't have his picture here, but he did in one of the other documents that I was going through. But
Yeah.
still, I mean, we're talking some really impressive stuff here. You started talking about Diamondback, Peterson Consulting Limited, Price
Mhm.
Waterhouse, senior tax manager. I mean, dude, what in the world? Where did you get this all-star lineup of team members? This is really, really impressive.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, this is my thing when it comes to tech startups. You never bet on the horse Serenity. You always bet on the jockey. And William has excellent success in the diamond industry, payment platforms, and the understanding of blockchain and distributed ledger technology. Mrs. Ingrida has connections worldwide. She knows 7 languages. She's worked with the Vatican, the Dalai Lama, and I could go on and on. With her experience in nonprofit organizations and charitable work. And then Mr. Peter was an elite level accountant for massive corporations and institutions in Hong Kong, and has a massive experience. And the reason why it's like they're fully dogs. Everyone knows a lot about them, right? But
Mhm.
they're a little bit older, so it's not like they kind of lived through the internet generation, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
I
So
know I kind of find myself slacking and I go back into like my Facebook from like 3 years ago. I haven't touched. I'm like, oh wow, man, I gotta fix this. And, yeah, it takes a lot to get it up and going and stuff. But just the information I was able to find and reading these bios and understanding about these people, you're really impressive. Now, I didn't for the vesting. Usually for my videos, I have a vesting period where I call a founder. I talk to them on camera. But actually, with Diamondback, I kind of got around that because Yabonks did that for a couple hours already, and
yeah.
I don't want to bug poor William anymore. I mean, he already did it. Yabonks verified it with me, so where I do work so close with him, I did take that on this particular protocol. But yeah, said that William was absolutely great. Had a great chat with him. Great guy. He was in the Air Force. I've got family that are all military brothers serving the Air Force, so I was afraid I would get on with William and him and I would go for hours and hours and hours. It would be just scary.
Yeah. So like you said, Mr. Williams spoke with your bonks for about 2 hours on a video conference call about a week ago or so, and then Mr. James Pelton also had a video confirmation with Miss Ingrida. So
Okay. How do you say her name? Ingrida? Is that right?
yeah, it's Ingrida, and her last name I'm still working on it.
Yeah, I was kind of looking at that, and if anybody here knows, I would love to know because yeah, I looked at that and I guessed it her first name, but I went to the last one and went, I have no idea. I don't
That's
want to
why I
mess it
just
up.
that's why I just stick with ma'am.
There you go. Yes, ma'am.
Yep. Yes, yes, ma'am.
Always safe. That's old school respect right there. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. All
Yes,
good.
ma'am.
Yeah. Just careful if your kids start saying that to you. That's when you know something is wrong and somebody's getting beat because they're in trouble for something. I just don't know what it is yet. I've learned that one. Or I come home and say, "How's the day, kids?" "Good, sir." It's like, "Oh God, what'd you do?"
Absolutely. Yeah, but our all-star lineup, I mean, our head of it, our advisors are extremely legit. Patrick Graff had some major exits and payment platforms as well. I actually know one of Patrick Graff's good friends, Connor Galak, who was one of the largest healthcare individuals and also um, one of the biggest players in the COVID-19 testing pool when he sold the billions and billions of dollars worth of COVID-19 tests. And I kind of met Patrick Graff through Connor. And like I said, it's just crazy. It's crazy how it kind of came all full circle. RJ Richards, who I talked about before, 42 years in the diamond industry, was a senior manager at Boeing. Grant Sperling, one of our legal advisors, as well as Boeing, Clifford Chance, and many other preeminent legal firms, and then Aaron Etra, UK, US, International Council for Foreign Relations, and also a lawyer himself who's been in the game for a while and was a professor at Columbia and was been involved in foreign relations with Africa as well. So
Wow.
it's the list goes on and on and on. But
Exactly. And so, no, that's great. I mean, it's all about networking. People don't realize that. The old saying in business, it's like, 90% who you know, and 10% of what you know. I mean, it really comes down to your networking, and people don't realize just how critical that is in any business aspect, whether it be DeFi or standard finances, government, politics. Take your pick. It's all really about who you know.
yeah, exactly. And one of the main ways that kind of was there's a few methods that people don't really know a lot about, and so we partnered with the Seed Group out of Dubai, and the Seed Group is ran by the CEO is also the same CEO of the Emirates. He's part of the royal family in Dubai. We partnered with them in 2020. There's videos on it on YouTube. I'm sure you've seen it, Serenity,
I
and
did.
and so with Dubai and United Arab Emirates, they're a gateway into Europe. So like you said, it's who you know. And Europe is it's a huge financial hub, right? Everyone wants to get out of the euro. It's been depleting super quickly as of recently. And then
Right.
also with Alpha Point running our software infrastructure, they'll be helping us get listed on over 80 exchanges. So we'll be accessible and for everyone, everywhere, every day.
Okay.
And
Now, let me ask
yeah.
you on that, because one thing I read through the white paper was talking
Mhm.
about integrating the legacy systems. Now, can you tell us about that, or what can you tell? How this is that going to work?
Why do you gotta ask me questions, Serenity, that
Hey,
I can't legally answer? You're,
perfect.
you're you're making it tough for me out here. So
Well,
you go talk to Mike. Go talk to someone else. You guys combine it, and then you get a full unit, and then we can talk about this all you want.
excellent. So, in my video, I hypothesized, because like I said, I don't know, and that's why I want to get it from you. Is
Mhm.
that basically it sounds almost like utilizing the existing credit card system, but incorporating it into a stable coin to be utilized on those standard swipe cards, things along those lines, is what I hypothesize. That's kind of what I guess when it's the way it's worded.
That is
But I
very accurate, and that seems like you know what you're talking about there, Serenity.
ooh,
Yeah.
hey, does that mean I get the 20K worth and I get the full if I get the answer, do I get the grand prize? How does this work? Um, that's kind of what I first saw.
Yeah.
Like I said, I did a lot of reading, did a lot of research before I did my
Mhm.
review video, but I wanted to save some of that here and hopefully get from you. But now I realize that there's a whole nother level. So let me ask you, when do you
Yeah, there
see
is.
this really being launching to the point where you can release this kind of information, or where do we start seeing this in the marketplace?
So the Diamondback coin will launch in Q1 of 2023, and very very soon. So the royalty program is super limited, right? Because once the Diamondback launches and then does millions and millions worth of volume, the royalty program is pretty much nullified. We don't need it anymore since the community is already there. There's already mass onboarding. So it's going to be very soon. We just finished integration and compliance work with most of the European banks, so we can be listed on choice.com. So people can go to choice.com and they can buy Diamondback with their bank accounts just straight as a preferred stablecoin. So it makes it much more accessible. And then so very very soon we are looking to launch. And like I said, um, it's the royalty program is very limited because once we launch and do millions of volumes, it will simply not be needed anymore. And we've already garnered quite a bit of attention on chain. As you see, we haven't done much marketing in the past since we've done the royalty program because we just got the heads up. And for about a week or two now, this is our second AMA, and we've already that's like 57,000 dollars worth
Yeah.
of volume on Binance Smart Chain, and then about 71K on ETH. So about quick math, like 135 um, overall very quickly. So it's going to keep scaling and scaling and to really be a lot of momentum in the Diamondback launch.
Okay. Now, does it have to hit this 100K, or is there a soft cap, a hard cap, any of that? Or is this just one of those, this is this early opportunity, and if you don't make it once the cutoff hits, regardless what that number is, it's done?
So there is no quote unquote soft cap or hard cap per se. Every 50,000 that comes in, there will be prizes, giveaways, things of that nature, right? Incentives. But the first 500K is absolutely crucial, right? So you can get part of the accelerated ROI program, because if you're within the first 500K, and once we do 5 million volume, you'll be your ROI, and then everything past that will be a profit.
Okay. That makes sense. So running through real quick on the two ways to get in. The first one is to go and buy the Royal Token. That's a minimum $500, maximum of $50,000.
Hmm.
Or you could buy in a lot through the ICO you were talking about. And
Yes.
then there's also the Diamond DAO, which is one AVAX, which is what I've got. Sorry, as soon as you go to the top of the page, it starts playing music, and that started playing. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, no worries, no worries. We had our front end and back end guys with that together. We're like, that's pretty cool. And then I didn't think about it now when on the live link, as music starts playing in the background.
Yeah, it is right up until you scroll to the top and it starts triggers. I'm like, what is that voice? They're talking to me again. It's okay. I'm usually used to it. It just didn't sound like the rest of the voices in my head, so it's kind of confusing. So now on the Diamond out here, I want to go down here because there's one thing I found really interesting digging into this. Now these are one AVAX, and it gets you an NFT, and as he was talking about, that's where you get the dust returns. But we're in stage one right now. That's from 0 to 1,000 NFTs for one AVAX. Then stage two, it's going to have a lottery prize, 1K, and so that's going to everybody who mints in stage one. Is that correct?
So actually, we're on stage like 4 or 5. We've actually There's been 3,200 NFTs minted already, I believe.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
yeah, so we're down the line a little bit, because like I said, people who don't have the $500 to play around with, and we got $20 to throw in there and say, what the heck, if this thing
Right.
does even blow up remotely. I mean, by 2025, a lot of the reports from Goldman Sachs, PricewaterhouseCoopers think that the stablecoin market capitalization is going to be around $500 billion. So if you think about it, if we garner, let's say, a minimal of 1% of that total market, and
Mm.
we're worth $5 billion, and we do $1 billion worth of volume every month, 2 months, right?
Okay.
That's huge returns for $20, and it's a straight passive too, and you don't have to connect with any wallets. I mean, you don't have to stake with on any websites. It's very simple, straightforward.
Okay. No, and it is. It's like I said, I went in, I minted a couple of them just to have them. It's like, that's kind of interesting. Let's see what this does. Add it to my collection of NFTs. That's, we won't even talk about that. That's one of those we leave it in the closet. So no, Robert, I think that's great. Has anybody got any questions? We're coming here to the end and want to see if anybody has some questions they want to throw out here. Ask Mike while we've got them. Or Robert, sorry. I looked up and I read Mike.
That's all right. It's all right. Me and Mike think alike, though, so I'll take that as a compliment.
Perfect. Okay, so I want to see some hard questions. Come on, somebody come out with something really hard that poor Robert here can't answer. I've done it twice now. I challenge somebody else to give him a question he cannot answer. Buddy, be something in it.
I know Mike is pondering right now. He's
I know,
listening to
he
this and he's
is. He's digging his
pondering.
brain.
I had a great AMA with him, man. That was great. It's been great, being part of that community. Brewed crypto. Definitely a lot of
Mike,
smart people in there.
yeah, Mike is a great guy. I love Brewed Crypto. I always try to tune in his AMAs. That's where I first found out about you folks.
Hmm.
Was in there and yeah, kept asking questions. It's like, oh man, we're out of time. Okay, but I got a whole bunch more. So when you reached out to me, it was great. And yeah, the more I get into this, the more I found out, and the more I'm personally impressed with. But like I said, it's not financial advice, everybody. You got to do your own decisions. This is one that, yes, obviously I have invested into. If I had more, I probably would. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. I'm not saying it's the wrong thing to do. That's not a decision I can make, or Robert can make, or anybody can make. Only you know your own financial situation. And the truth is, don't listen to me. Don't listen to him. Don't listen to anybody else. You got to make your own choice, because if something goes good, you want to be the one who's victorious. But if something goes bad, unfortunately, you have to be the one to accept responsibility for deciding to participate in that protocol. So, yeah, my piece of advice: never listen to anybody, regardless. I'm here for entertainment, for education, to give you my viewpoint, my perception, and to ask the questions that hopefully Robert can't answer, because I figure I'm on the right track if I'm doing that.
Absolutely. And the thing about this protocol too, right, is usually in crypto and DeFi Serenity, when you dig into a protocol and you keep digging deeper, you tend to find things that turn you off. Right. We see it all the time, right? We dig in these
Exactly.
protocols and we're like, oh, that's not good. The more I dig, the more things I find. When you dig into this one, the more things you find, and you're like, what is this? Well, who is involved with this? And it kind of cascades into a rabbit hole of breadcrumbs, like you said, that leads to one thing to another, and it really gets you going. Like, who's involved with this? Who built this? What is going on here, right? And you start
Hmm.
really, you're like, okay, this is pretty massive, right? Because myself, when I first introduced to Diamondback, before I was onboarded into the Royal team and the royalty program, um, it was the same way. I just kind of just dove into it, and the more I dove into it, the more I met with them, and the more I integrated. I was like, okay, that we got something here, right? Because I only really, participate with the top tier projects and protocols that I really think have a big time shot. And I think this can change and be the financial solution for everyone, right? For the 2 billion people who are unbanked or underbanked, to have access to a currency that's not depleting rapidly, that they can use everywhere. Um, like I said, there's so much here, and I'm so excited to share it in this upcoming year. And I really hope people, dig into it and do their own research, because if they do that, it will only get more and more bullish. I say that with my whole heart.
Absolutely. And this is one that, yeah, the more I dug, the more I'm like, wow, really? Why am I even doing an AMA on this? I mean, this is like way above me. It's just, I mean, this is like CNN news kind of stuff. Um, so, I feel very honored to be part of it. Now, as always, it's about the adoption. And I think, just like I
Mhm.
said in my video, that's really the question. But, none of us know the future. And but from your partnerships, from all the different pictures I saw of the team members in these different events, from all the crypto events and things they were part of, as
Mhm.
well as mixing with the royalty over in the Middle East, and all that's like, wow, this is really impressive. Either that or it's an amazing Photoshop. I haven't figured out which yet.
I think these people. I think they're that's a little bit before their time, or after their time. I don't think they'll have the ability to Photoshop that.
Yeah, I don't know. There might be somebody, but yeah, I don't know. I started going through each of those pictures, and I'm
Yeah.
like, wait, is that? Huh, okay, what? This is impressive.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, it's definitely one that I personally believe in, and I think it has a lot of possibility.
Mhm.
My only concern is adoption, as I've made very clear. But at the same time, from what you guys are connecting with, who you're connecting with, and how you're going about it, I think this is going to be huge. But don't take my advice. Don't take Robert's advice. He's on that side. Really do your own due diligence. And I want to put the link in here. So this link I'm putting in the chat, guys. This has links to everything else, the white paper, all that. And I just deleted.
Yeah,
There we go.
the summits you're talking about is the CEO William was a head speaker at the blockchain summit in the Dubai banking center. Back in, I think, 2019, 2018, and 2020. They've spoken all over the world at I like how the questions come up on here. It's super cool. But he's spoken all over the world at some massive events, forums, and we have that direct access with our partnerships in the Middle East to the oil money. And if you know that, that's where not only billions are, but trillions.
Oh
So
yeah,
it's about having access and a gateway entrance into these marketplaces, right? And giving
right.
these people the access to get out of their fiat, because I keep saying it over and over, fiat's only going down, and it's time for
Okay.
sound money 3.0. It's time for another solution, right? And
Absolutely.
blockchain is that solution. And having an money, right? Having a token coin backed by an appreciating hard asset is key. US dollar had it with the US gold, and then they took it off the standard. And now
Yeah,
where's it backed by? Tanks? Like that to me it doesn't make sense.
right.
Um,
Yeah. Our
so
dollar's backed by the military. That's really what backs the US dollar, honestly. And
exactly.
somebody else mentioned that several months or years ago, and I remember hearing that. I'm like, you know what? That's true, because we don't have enough gold. We don't have enough of anything. What we do have is enough tanks, airplanes, battleships. That's what we got enough of. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
So
Um,
Funny Toro has a good question here. So
yeah.
have you guys thought about partnering with Project 79? They are planning to release their token, which is going to be tied to the value of gold.
So the thing is I haven't really dug into Project 79 all that much. Many people have brought it up to me. Um, the thing I can say is I don't have a bias to them. I hope they succeed. I'm pretty sure what they're doing is they're like buying it and then selling it, like buying out of Africa and selling it into like a refinery in Dubai or something like that. That's like a little bit of what I read. A small scope of it. But the thing with Project 79 is being tied to the value of gold is gold, there's a ton of it and more of it's being found. And also the price of gold is heavily manipulated. It's traded over derivatives and by exchange markets. And a lot of people have a lot of it, right? And like I said, they keep finding more and more of it. It's the same thing with silver. If you look at the gold and silver charts and you cross out the name gold and silver, cross out the dates, people won't be able to tell the difference between them and an illiquid DeFi coin. Their market, like the prices of them are really, really volatile if you looked at it. Um, and like I said, it took a lot of research and a lot of time to find the perfect asset class to back something with. And like I said, this has took close to a decade. And
And
the thing about Project 79 is I hope they succeed. I hope they do well. I'm all for integration and collaboration with protocols. We just got to find that sweet spot.
got it. Okay. And that makes sense. And that's a great question, Funny, because yeah, I've heard of Project 79. I have not done my research on it, to be honest with you. But it's one of the things on my list to do in my free time as soon as I get some of that. So I figure eventually I'll get there.
Diamondback's all you need, Serenity. It will fulfill all your needs.
Perfect. So they say, I guess we'll see. Time will tell. But
Yes, we will.
to say thank you for everybody here, because we're just about out of time here.
Mhm.
And I want to thank Robert very much for his time. But also, one thing I did before, and I didn't announce this because I didn't want just anybody to show up for just the giveaways, is the best question was going to get this. So this is an NFT that I personally bought, and I've been holding on to it. And so, yeah, I want to give that away. And Funny Toro, you have asked the most questions and the most intuitive. So definitely DM me, and I'm going to send you this NFT for participating and say, hey, thank you so very much. I appreciate you guys for stopping in, for checking out Diamondback, and for sticking with us on this.
Thank you so much for having me, Serenity. We really look forward to building and integrating with you further. It's been great. The first video you did was fantastic. We were all very impressed by the level of research you did. And one of the reasons we decided to go with you is we knew, I was like, this guy's going to do his research. And as he does more and more of his research and goes past that surface level, the more and more bullish he's going to get. And he's going to be on the same path we are. He's going to be a perfect guy for our community. And here we are. So
That's
I
awesome.
look forward to chats in the future and building this thing with you. And like I said, people like you are crucial in building that community.
Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. And yeah, to be honest, the deeper I've gotten into this, the more I've learned. Yes, the more passionate I've gotten to where, yes, I've bought NFTs, and as soon as I can scrape up enough pennies, I do plan on buying some Royal coins. That is on my list to do. I just have to make some money to buy some coins. So unless you know somebody just handing them out on the street corner, so give them my address. I will be happy to take whatever they don't want.
I'll walk outside right now and I'll see what's going on. I'll ask around.
Sounds good. So, Robert, hey, thank you so much for joining us. And everybody, thank you for joining. Definitely make sure to like this, subscribe to the channel if you would, please. Do me a huge favor. But biggest thing is, yeah, keep spreading this word about education. Let people know, they're not trapped in that dead-end job. They can join us on this crypto adventure. So, everybody, thank you so very much and have a great night.
Bye-bye now.